clean hands. Come on, you and I both know that.
I've already said that.
Oh, so I don't get to say it because you've already said it?
No. Here's the difference. I'm saying that they get what they deserve because the coalition have come to this debate and had scare campaign after scare campaign. I'm not defending the coalition scare campaign. I'm asking you, do you think that Labor's is disingenuous?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's the difference between us.
There you go.
I think both are disingenuous. You think Labor's is legitimate, but the coalition's
I think Labor has a credible claim to make that they are the party that has consistently protected Medicare. They are the party you can count on to ensure.
Sure, but that's not the debate.
Also,
it's not the debate.
How do you know what Malcolm Turnbull actually stands for? I mean, this is the guy that was going to put up the GST by 15%.
Those are all fair points.
This was the guy that was going to let states levy their own income tax. This was the guy. Oh, am I keeping you from something?
Oh, you're sounding like you're back in politics, because what I'm interested in is the absolute gumph that Labor runs that the Liberals will privatise Medicare. It's been ruled out. The task force was not about privatising Medicare anyway. The operations in relation to contracting out services was part of a 2-decade-long plan, which, by the way, the most amount of change was during the 6 years of Labor being in power. It's just rubbish. Now, don't get me wrong. Libs get what they deserve. They run their own scare campaigns. What goes around comes around. But the difference between you and me on this is I call out both sides as being full of it on this. You seem to think that Labor's attack is legitimate. I don't, just like I don't think that the scare campaigns from the coalition are.
Labor began this attack when the coalition had a clear plan in place to look to privatise, contract out, whatever you want to call it,
as an extension of the regular services,
the back office services of Medicare,
which had been going on for 20 years.
We also know from coalition MPs time and time again a view that the private sector does things better than the public sector, a preference to privatise things. Look at their asset recycling scheme, for goodness sakes. You can't sit here and say there isn't a privatisation bent within the coalition.
They're not privatising Medicare. They never will. It's electoral suicide. They never would. They wouldn't even know how to. There's no plans in that direction. The task force had nothing to do with that. The contracting out of services, as Laura Tingle points out, had nothing to do with Medicare and was part of an agenda that was on both. Yeah, the productivity, which Labor, well, not according to Bill Shorten. Bill Shorten has said the Productivity Commission was an example of the Liberal Party's move to privatise Medicare. It's just crap. Both sides are just, no wonder 1 in 4 people are willing to vote minor party with the sort of rubbish that gets passed off as legitimate scare campaigns by both sides. I'm calling both sides. That's why I'm disappointed that you're not calling both sides.
Well, you can be disappointed. I think there is a legitimate argument to be made here. The Labor Party is making it. It's clearly biting, and it's frustrating the coalition.
Oh, it's biting, but my frustration isn't their political frustration. My frustration is that anyone who is legitimately in any way, shape or form trying to be reasonable in looking at this doesn't just call out both sides as this is just a load of garbage. There's no campaign to privatise Medicare from the Liberal Party. It's just rubbish. Just absolute rubbish.
All right, well, let's bring in someone who can speak for the Labor Party on this and other matters, campaign spokesperson and Senator Penny Wong. Thanks for joining us on To The Point.
Hi, how are you both? You're having a fun time there, I see.
Oh, we're having a great time. We're in furious disagreement, which is not unusual on the program. Peter, I'm guessing you want to ask the first question to Penny Wong.
No, look, because it'll just be the usual stuff, to be perfectly honest. I'm so disappointed with both sides of politics now.
I'm very
these
happy
scare
to go
campaigns
off
are just
and do
rubbish.
something else if you would prefer I don't engage in your program. But you asked me on. If you want to ask me a question, I'm here.
Well, I'll ask you.
I'll go and have a cup of coffee.
I'll ask you a question, Senator, and just I'll see if you answer it though. Is bulk billing up or down since the change of government?
I think the more important question is what will happen if bulk billing